Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. This is Nikhil Parekh. In this video, I shall be giving you a recitation of my poem that is entitled Immortal Soldiers Part 2. This poem of mine has been published in my book that is with title Love vs. Terrorism, Volume 1. Therefore, without wasting a further instant, wanted to ardently commence upon with the recitation of my poem Immortal Soldiers Part 2. Whether it be the tumultuous tornado mercilessly slashing our throats, or whether the rain came down so treacherously from the sky that we couldn't even see an infinitesimal step further, whether an unfathomable battalion of savage panthers tried to tear us apart in our way, or whether the ground felt salaciously slipping under our hopelessly galloping feet, whether ominous daggerheads of uncertainty plagued us as we advanced forward, or whether the sky seemed to be miserably blending forever with inconspicuous earth, whether an unsurpassable dungeon of diabolical scorpions parasitically sucked blood from our patriotic veins, whether an unsurpassable dungeon of diabolical scorpions parasitically sucked blood from our patriotic veins, or whether the freezing mountains seemed so unassailable that tears refrained to stoop down our cheeks. To stoop down our cheeks, we will indefatigably continue to march forward for our country, as its immortal soldiers will intractably cease to rest until the last iota of our sacrosanct motherland is blissfully relieved from the clutches of the tyrannical devil, will intractably cease to rest until the last iota of our sacrosanct motherland is blissfully relieved from the clutches of the tyrannical devil. Whether a gorge of acrid thorns viciously hit us in the soft spots of our eyes, or whether there wasn't even the tiniest droplet of water available to placate the murderously traumatized agony in our throats, whether the sun shone so swelteringly whether the sun shone so swelteringly that each speck of energy sagged inevitably from our dreary bones, or whether the ghastly blackness of the night, disdainfully maimed us in every step that we alighted, whether the profound memories of our children made the blood chillingly freeze in our veins, or whether an avalanche of bombs from the other side disintegrated our caricature into an infinite pieces of worthless sawdust, whether diabolical earthquakes tried to heinously devour us in our stride, or whether the entrenchment of devilish hell was all that was ostensibly visible on every lane we chose, we will unflinchingly continue to march forward for our country as its immortal soldiers, will irrefutably deny breath to relinquish our nostrils until every space of our divinely motherland is perennially bereft of the sweat of invidious traitors, until every space of our divinely motherland is perennially bereft of the sweat of invidious traitors, whether corpses of remorsefully devastating despair were the only things to greet us as we entered into the color of dawn, or whether perniciously heinous swords indiscriminately chopped off our chest, nose, and feet, indiscriminately chopped off our chest, nose, and feet, whether maelstroms of horrendously torturous captivity, whether maelstroms of horrendously torturous captivity loomed large on every step that we trespassed, or whether the cries of disparaging extinction augmented in intensity as each instant unfolded into an entire minute, whether whirlpools of unbearable pain stabbed us beyond realms of holistic reprieve, or whether the weight of our own deteriorated visages became so onerous that it yearned to sink to beneath soil for an eternal rest, whether the insatiably Herculean tenacity of the opposing force made us tremble in sheer disbelief, or whether the lap of our divinely mother, or whether the lap of our divinely mother incessantly called us back to be invincibly cuddled, we will unconquerably continue to march forward for our country as its immortal soldiers will throw all sleep and rest away from our blazingly bloodshot eyes until even the last fragment of our heavenly motherland jubilantly rejoices in the essence of glorious victory. Jubilantly rejoices in the essence of glorious victory, whether all uncouth lechery on this planet was let loose upon our innocent bodies, or whether vengefully sinister sharks ardently waited ahead to pulverize us into abominable mincemeat, or whether vengefully sinister sharks ardently waited ahead to pulverize us into abominable mincemeat, whether vengefully sinister sharks ardently waited ahead to pulverize us into abominable mincemeat, mesmerizing of thought, whether even the most mesmerizing of thoughts in our minds froze to just the singleton corpse of hopelessness, or whether, or whether or whether lethally hideous venom was impregnated into our skins after removing all blood inside, whether brutally amputated parts of our bodies pathetically decayed in the aisles of asphyxiating boredom, or whether the anxious voices of our wives, or whether the anxious voices of our wives back home sapped every trace of energy from our resolute souls, whether powerhouses of lecherous greed gave us the status of martyrs, whether powerhouses of lecherous greed gave us the status of martyrs after we altruistically shed our lives, or whether our vision became an insipidly obfuscated blur as the enemy camp tyrannically gouged us, for the remainder of our lives, we will perpetually continue to march forward for our country. We will perpetually continue to march forward for our country as its immortal soldiers. Will never let our lives see even the most remote beam of light. Will never let our lives see even the most remote beam of light until the breath from every quarter of our revered motherland, until the breath from every quarter of our revered motherland spawned from only the sons of its very choice, spawned from only the sons spawned from only the sons of its very own choice. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for hearing me. From the innermost layer of my heart, wanted to thank you for the victoriously euphoric patronization to the poetry.